Hello guys, hello everyone. Today's presentation or training is about business events in D365. My name is Khurram Rashdi. I am MCT and I have around 20 years of experience in IT, software engineering and implementation, and only 12 years in Microsoft Dynamics, AX and D365. So the agenda will be, first of all, we will need to define what are basically business events in D365. Then we'll also explore a few of the examples, and then we need to also see what are the prerequisites uh, before we can implement business events. Then we'll need to have a look on business event catalog available in D365. And then we also define what are basically endpoints. And second last item will be how to implement business events briefly. And then we'll also demonstrate in the last, we will also code, we will create classes, and we will create a few objects in our Azure subscriptions. And we'll see how D3 from D365 business events can through the queue system, messaging queue system, the messages are propagated whenever a business events are happening in D365. So first we need to define what are basically business events. Business events are actions which are performed inside D365. So actions can be, for example, posting of journals, posting of various documents available, and we can give example in next slide. First of all, we just need to understand what are basically business events, why they are needed. Business events basically provide a mechanism through which external systems get notification on certain happenings or certain actions when certain actions are performed in D365 apps, which can be SCM, finance, or HCM or commerce, whatever applications are available in D365. Whenever certain happenings are happening, then only notification are sent to the external system to perform uh, the remaining business actions in those systems. So business event can occur whenever some business process is run by the end user in D365 who are basically participators in order to perform business actions when they are completing their tasks. Business actions can be performed by the end user, and they can be workflow based or non-workflow based. So workflow based, you know already, for example, purchase requisition workflow or purchase order workflow. These are also events whenever a workflow is approved. And there can be events we'll see in the examples. For example, when a sales order is confirmed, so this confirmation of sales order is a business event. So on confirmation, a message is sent to the customer. This can be an application. So the business event itself is sales order confirmation, and we are using this business event in order to notify a customer that okay, whatever you have send us the purchase order, we are confirming a sales order, and by confirming means we are making sure that the quantity to be sent is also available. So this can be one of the application. And similarly, for a production manager, it will be very useful when a bill of material is approved in D365, and for him to create a formula on an external production control system which is on premise. And similarly, approval of a purchase requisition is a good example of a workflow based action. Same example can be a purchase order approval, and whatever the workflows are available out of the box in D365, the approval of those workflows can be a business event. Confirmation of a purchase order, which happens after a PO is approved through workflow, but confirmation is a manual step, so this can be a non-workflow based action. Business events should not be misused in order to transfer the data. Rather, only a few chunks of packets or data can be sent. For example, a single purchase order, or is when it is confirmed, or a single sales order or something like this. It should not be misused for transferring, for example, 1000 of purchase order which are approved in, for example, last 30 days or something like this. So already that is provided through DMF. In D365, export functionality is available, which can be scheduled on a recurring basis, that can be used. So it should not be misused. The prerequisites are the business events consumption can happen on Power Automate or Azure messaging services. So this can be a prerequisites, because business events, whenever it happens, it need a receiving end or an endpoint to receive the notification or messages that this business event has happened. So the customer should have the subscription, for example, Azure subscription, and the asset in that subscription to receive the business event and utilize the business events. So business event catalog is nothing, a list of business events out of the box available in D365, and these can be the available list include workflow and non-workflow based items, and it is available in system admin module, specifically in setup and business events. Catalog lists all the events available in that instance that you are using, and the catalog is also useful to show you a list what business events are out of the box available, and you can also filter it by category. And category is nothing, just a module or a workflow word itself. If it is a workflow based business event, so the word workflow will be shown in the category column, and if it is non-workflow based, so the module name will be displayed in the category column itself. So this is a screenshot. In this screenshot only you can see the workflow based category, but in the first column of category, the module name is also available. You can navigate to the system admin and check yourself whatever the list is available. So in this screenshot also, it is useful whenever you click a business event. So on the right hand side you can see the field names which will be transferred to the external system, and you can also download the schema, which is nothing, just a JSON based file through which you can see what are the fields available, which are already shown on the right hand side. And then whatever the business event you need to activate, there is a command, you can see plus activate available at the top. You just select the that business event and activate it, but that need also to have an endpoint. So on the top you can see the second tab is endpoint. Endpoint is the receiving end of the business event notifications. So, and then there are categories, categorization of active and non-active events. And then if there are certain errors happening, so the log is available in the last tab, fifth tab. So that's it. And when you in the demo you can see we will develop a business event which is not out of the box, rather we are developing. So in the manage at the top you can see the if you click it in the system, then it will give you a reorganize command, so that all the new the business events which are recently defined, that will be populated. So we here define what are the endpoints. Endpoints are just destinations, and pre-configured destination, or whatever you have configured it, wherever the business events need to be sent. Following can be supported endpoint types, in which Azure Service Bus Queue, which we will see also in demonstration, and then Azure Service Bus Topic, Event Grid, Event Hub, HTTPS, Power Automate. These are the endpoints available. So the endpoints should also be in customers Azure subscription. For example, Event Grid is used as an endpoint. The endpoint must be in customer Azure subscription, which will need to define in D365 then. So in order to implement business events, we need to first build the contract class in order to transfer the data. of that particular document which is related to that particular business event. For example, confirmation of a purchase order or confirmation of a sales order. The document itself is a purchase order or sales order, so it will contain one header and then multiple lines. So multiple purchase lines and single header for purchase table or purchase order header. Similarly, sales table and sales line. One sales table record will be there, and then multiple records for sales lines. And then second is building the event itself in the coding, and then we need also to add the code to send the event itself whenever it happens. So two classes briefly need to be implemented here. So the first one will be the business event, which extends business event base class. Base class already provide the required logic, the methods which need to be overridden if you need it, or you can also define your own methods. So it also helps in building the payload itself. Payload means whatever the data you need to transfer, and also to send the business event. And then there is a contract class which need to be extended from business events contract itself. So it defines the payload of business event and allows for population of contract at runtime. So guys, that's it. And now we'll jump on to demonstration, and I hope that you will enjoy the demonstration. Please subscribe to my channel, and please provide your valuable feedback and comments about this video, and any improvements, and also if you need any other topic about D365, please also comment or give your feedback. Thank you very much. Let's jump on to the demonstration portion. So for the demonstration in Visual Studio 2019, we will create a new project. We'll prefix it with our whatever the code name, like PKR, and then the project name will be the sales integration. The target of today's demo will be to create a business event for sales order confirmation happening or the event. So for that purpose, the project name will need to be sales integration. Whenever a sales order is confirmed, so we need to capture that event, business event, and then send the document, the journal itself, say a confirmation journal, to the external system. So we'll just name the project, and then just create it. The packages which need to be referenced in the model itself. So here the model mistakenly it was different one selected, so I need to change the model in the project properties itself, which will be the PKR model, and yeah, and then it in this model itself, multiple packages also need to be referred. Application suite, application foundation, platform, application common, unit of measures. So first we'll need to create a new item, which will be a new class. So we'll name the class itself. So basically the class will be about the sales lines. So we'll just prefix pkr underscore and si for sales integration, and then sales line contract in order for payload of the sales line, whatever number of sales line in that sales order exists. So we need to package the data and transfer through the business event itself. So just hold on until the class is created. In the recent update, I don't know, something has happened that the decorations or the meta data above the methods, they are hiding. I don't know, some new updates have happened on Visual Studio, and due to which this is happening. Anyhow, even then we'll need to challenge that one and face that one and do our business. So we will just decorate it, the class as a data contract, and also access modifier will be public, also need to be mentioned. And in the sales line, the most significant data can be item ID, the quantity, and also the unit ID or unit of measure that need to be also captured as a data payload. So we will mention it here. And then in the contract, of course, the getter setter or param methods need to be also defined. The EDT sales unit is giving error, which I think the reference is missing here. We need to refer the required package in our model itself. So the model is PKR model, and the source documentation type will be the required package. So this need to be referenced. Then we need to build our project in order for the error should go. Okay, so yeah, now the error has gone. When we reference the correct package, package can be found on the AOT on the application explorer on the left hand side. Whatever the packages the objects are in are easily shown. So the three variables we have defined in our class, contract class, and then we need to define the param methods uh, for for our contract class. Param method for the new developers, these are getter setters or the copiers from where you can get or set the values inside the values to the variable inside the class using those methods. So the methods need to be public. The return type should be the item ID, and we have decorated as a data member, and we have given the item ID as its member name, data member name, and business events data member. We need to put the label here. This is item ID. We are putting just the text instead of label codes, but the label codes are best practices. So those need to be taken care of whenever you are need to ensure the best practices. For this demonstration, we are just using it. So the similar way, item ID, when we assign underscore item ID is always a parameter variable, or always should start with underscore. So underscore item ID equals to item ID means we are making it optional. When we need to get the value, then no need to pass the parameter. That's why we are assigning the same variable, global variable, so that it makes it optional. But if the value is there, so underscore item ID will have some value which will be assigned to the item ID, which is the global variable in this class, and the same value will be returned. So the same pattern need to be repeated for all the variables. This is basically a payload for the line items, and then we'll take care for the header also in another class, which is the business event contract. So here then there will be sales unit data member, and the same definition for the param method need to be repeated. We need to decorate it as a data member, and also I removed the ID because now the EDT name itself is sales unit, so it's best practice to make it as a camel case and then remove the ID and make it the same. So variables naming convention should also reflect whatever it contains. So that a new developer or a software engineer should easily know that what this variable is about, what function it will be used in, or method name should also be uh, obvious. So the method name should also reflect whatever the method, the behavior it contains. We need to also define the param method for sales unit, similar way, in the similar way as we have defined the above other methods. So also the sales unit variable will need to be in the parameter, making it optional and then assigning it. So this basically contract will define the sales line items, whatever the number of lines are, and then this contract will be defined in the actual business event contract as a list, so that all the line item will be in the list itself. We will just need to verify on each of the steps so that no compiler errors are there. It is good to always build the project on every of the step whenever you are completing something like completing a class or completing a method. So to check whether all the reference packages are there and there are no compiler errors. So we are just adding another item, and in the that item is also a class, and the class will need to have the class is about the contract for the business event itself. So we are naming it as a sales confirm contract business event. Similarly, we should also declare as a data contract, decorate as a data contract here, and then access modifier as a public, and also we need to extend it with business event contract. So we what we need to define here is about sales order header itself. So of course, whenever you confirm a sales order, so it creates a journal header and journal lines. So basically, cust confirm jar and cust confirm trans are the respective tables against sales table and sales lines. Whenever you confirm it, a new journal is created, and the obvious fields are, for example, sales ID, and then customer account is also necessary important field for the header itself, and all the important fields for the header we need to capture here so that we can transfer it to the as a business event. Also, we need to create a list. The list will contain basically the lines. Uh, Basically, it will contain the contract for the sales lines. Uh, so we will also implement the logic to iterate it and then store in the list and then receive the same list or decode it. So what other important fields we can put here is, for example, currency. Currency code is also important, and we just need to check in table itself. So basically it is cust currency code. Indentation need to be also done. It is also best practice to make your code readable so that whoever reads it is easy for him. Now we need to define the data members, and we will be adding more variables for the other mandatory fields as well as we go further. So the data member need to be business events data member also. So the name I need to place as sales ID, so that inside the business event it should be shown as a sales ID. Basically it should be a label. So please take care about the label file and the label codes. We need to also implement the param methods for all the variables we have defined at the top. This is very obvious, as I already told that the logic of param method should be like if you are getting a value or you are setting a value. When you are setting a value, you need to provide a parameter so that the parameter value is assigned to the local variable in the class. And when you are getting the value, no need to provide the parameter, rather param method itself will return the, for example, in this case, sales ID value if it is set already. So basically sales ID, cost account, currency code, these three are string values, but here we are defining as a EDT, extended data types, which further extend ultimately string. Just follow the patterns, and param methods are very straightforward. We will just implement in a similar way, only the variable names and the method names will be changed. The remaining, the pattern will be the similar. We will additionally be adding more variables later on, but for the sake of to start with, at least I have included now sales ID, customer account, and currency code, including the sales line list, which will be the list containing the other contract for sales line. Already we have done that one. So in the loop, when we instantiate that one, in the loop, we'll instantiate the sales line contract class as many time as the lines are, the number of lines. Guys, the video will be longer one because normally, you know, the coding or the programming is, you know, complex task, and for that task, we need to also check our compiler errors and other things, best practices. Uh, we need to follow in bits and pieces. So whoever are new programmers, please take care of your indentation in the coding. For example, your code should be very clear enough, and there should be enough spacing, and the casing, you know, the text casing should be very accurate, I mean, as per the best practices. For example, where camel case is required, for example, above the actual EDT is itself all words capital, initial word capital, and the variable itself are camel case. Whenever the parameters are underscore, start with underscore, and the remaining in the body you can see currency code is camel case normally. So it will identify that this is a variable or a class instance. So the param method itself in the declaration, it is also camel case. The return type cust currency code is all initial capitals. Now we are defining here the lastly our sales line, a list or a param method for containing or I mean getting or setting the list for the sales line contract class. So the type will be class here. We need to also uh, give the class string name here so that it returns the class string. We will pass on the class name itself, which is pkr underscore si sales line contract. So the two parameters will be passed, and so this will be our data collection and attribute. So the definition will be the return type, the access modifier will be public, and return type will be list here. The remaining in the parameter also we will be passing a list similarly as per our param method pattern. So just to name it, param sales line list, and then sales lines as a parameter, and then we need to pass the global variable here. Okay, this looks okay, and now in the similar way we need to assign it and then return. That will conclude our business event contract class, which is taking care for the sales order header, and including having a param method for sales lines itself. We will just build our project so that there are no compiler errors. Our next class will be an interaction class, and that will be serve as a helper class also for instantiation of the contract classes. Just to name it, we'll prefix as pkr underscore, and if you are following it, you can prefix as per your likings, and then si for sales integration and sales order confirm business event contract. This is the main contract class. The previous one were for the payload. So in the interaction class, sorry, what I say, actually this is interaction helper class. Previously it was a contract class for both header and the lines. So it will not be extending any other parent class. Rather, this class will itself contain a method which is public static method. Without instantiating the class, we can call that a static method directly, and it will perform certain action, which in our case will be to instantiate the business event contract class, and through param method it will on the basis of in our case it is sales confirmation journal, so we will pass the cust confirm jar table buffer. On the basis of that, it will populate the class, I mean the instantiate the class and populate the variables through param methods with the required field values. So the public static and the method name, the return type, the return type, and then the method name should be like a new from, and so this prefix we normally assign when we are copying or defaulting from a table buffer. So the method should start new from, and the table name itself as a naming convention for the method. So in our case, it will be cust confirm jar, the table name. Let's save it, and let's little bit explore. So this is cust confirm trans basically, and this one is a class for this one. We can see here you cust confirm jar. Furthermore, there are more important fields here belonging to the header itself. Few one I have already noted in the first line, but normally invoice I should note also these: invoice account, sales ID, confirmed date. Purchase order is not necessary because normally it's not necessary that all the sales orders should be linked with purchase order. So I will not be just noting it here. Confirm doc number is confirmation document number, and currency code, and confirm amount. Making note of these. It depends upon your own choice. Whatever I mean, you need to pass it on a certain business event. Whatever the field value you need to pass it on, it depends upon your own choice. For example, if you are implementing a Power Automate flow, so in that flow, uh, in order to approve for the assignee, whatever the important field values are, you can implement those only. So it depends upon your own choice, or or I mean the requirements, as per requirements. Let me check other important field if I can get. So basically, whenever you are programming, it is little bit you need to do R&D, research and development, and you need to think in between little bit. I mean, and you can discover many facts when you are exploring AOT objects. On the left hand side, Application Explorer pane. So the definition you can see in this way in the property itself, and so many facts are normally discovered whenever you are doing some programming efforts. So also you can take existing classes or tables and examples, and there are also tutorials given by the prefix of tutorial. So in the AOT you can just play around and see whatever you need to follow any of the existing examples. So in our case, we will be this will be new from the cust confirm jar. So this will be the table basically on the confirmation of a sales order. So this one is created and it will contain the header information. So I need to pass a buffer of the same type, cust confirm jar buffer, table buffer. Now I need to instantiate, or I mean the declare, uh, first of all declare the contract class itself and then instantiate it in the same line. Just copy paste because this one is very long name. So instead of typing, you can copy paste it and change it as per your needs. So contract, and with the new, I can instantiate the same class with the parenthesis and the statement over sign. You can see sometime what is happening in this update in Visual Studio. There is some very surprising things are going on where definition are automatically hiding, and when you are again opening the class definition, so again it's showing me. So I think Microsoft should fix it soon. In the once I have instantiated the business event contract, so I need to also populate through the param method the values which are taken from our parameter, that is the table buffer cust confirm jar. So I need to initialize the variables or values. I need to sales ID, customer account, and currency code are existing param methods which I have already included. So I need to initialize the same customer account, cust confirm jar. This is basically, I think, order account, field name is, and then the next one will be currency code. See, again the method definition has been invisible, although it is there, but it has become invisible. So this is very, I have tried to install the extension again, D365 extension for development, but it's same. So I think we have to blame Visual Studio 2019, the new update which just applied in July. So there is no return statement which need to be there. So I just, because I have already included the return type, so I need to mention it there. So the return type will be the contract itself. I'm just building it. So build is completed means there are no compiler errors. In the interaction class, let me check all the classes. Let me close it again and open. Let me define further parameters for the fields I have noted in my notes. For example, confirm date. This date is when the sales order is confirmed, the confirmation journal date. I just need to also show the label for this confirm date, so that in the business event it should show it like same. So the same like return type will be the, it will be trans date. Basically the confirm date type, the EDT type is trans date here, and this document number is cust confirm doc number, and confirm ID is confirm ID. So I need to mention them as a return type. Let me complete the definition. The return type is translate, and the param method can be confirm date. Let me also define this as a variable. So trans date is the data type or EDT, and the variable name is confirm date. I need to also define confirm document number. The indentation is very important. Here you can see I'm making use of tab. Through tabbing, all the variables are in line. Here confirm amount need to be of amount cur EDT type, which is amount currency. So the confirm variable name is confirm amount. So these three variables, we need to define the parameters against each one of them. So let's complete the definition of this parameter. So just copy paste. The next will be confirm amount. This is event data member. Confirm amount should be mentioned. So in this one also the amount currency is basic EDT type. Normally this EDT is used wherever there is amount with decimal points. Amount curve will be used. And for the new programmers, if you don't know EDT, what is an EDT? EDT is basically a user-defined data type, basically extending from the primitive type. For example, primitive type can be integer, real, string, and then there are user-defined which are extending from the primitive types. Primitive are basic types. Whenever you learn any programming language, so there are primitive types. So X++ allows you to define your own types based on the existing primitive types. And then you can define further extended properties. For example, in case of strings, you can define number of characters, etc., or the label names. And it is always best practice to define your own EDT, extending from the basic EDT type. Or for the demonstration purpose, I'm not defining my own EDT, otherwise this will be very long project. So the next param method is about document number whenever the confirmation journal is posted. So in the similar manner as I defined the above one, let me define the confirm document number. So this EDT already exists, so it will turn automatically into green if it exists. The color coding is very good. I mean, this will identify whether this is a keyword or like public or private. These access modifiers are shown in light blue color, and uh, if you are defining something in text, so that is in black. And similar way, other color codes are very helpful. It makes first of all the coding a colorful experience. And normally people think it is a bore exercise, but whenever the colors are added into any activity, so it becomes attractive for the new user. I will make a use of copy paste here and adjust the code as per requirements. Semicolon as a statement terminator. Confirm document number should be the return variable. So I think that's it. Just save it, and as you can see, the all the decorators or attributes are hidden now, although it is there, but I don't know this Visual Studio text editor is doing something very amazing. Now let me complete this one, the interaction class, by also including the other field values which we have just incorporated in our contract class. So the confirm amount will also be copied from the journal which was passed, and similar way confirm document number also need to be copied. Lastly, it was, I think, confirm date. Param, let me check. Confirm date, yes. So basically, it is showing me an error that this param method does not exist. Actually, I have typed it wrongly as a param trans date. It should have been as param confirm date. I will just modify it. Okay, on modification, the decorator are appearing, and again it is invisible. So anyhow, now I think it is complete. Let me build my project so that there are no compiler errors. Build is successful, completed. Okay, let me now include one very important thing, which is basically this was the header information. Like sales ID, customer account, currency code, confirm amount, document number, confirm date, all these belong to the header. Now we need to also include the line items, which are, I mean, the sales line or trust confirm trans lines. So for that, I need to, because I don't know at this stage, nobody knows that for a particular sales order number, how many lines will be there. We need to then iterate each of the lines included in that journal, and then we need to include or populate those lines in our uh, lines contract and instantiate also. Of course, once we instantiate, then only we can populate. So let me now first define the list itself. This list is nothing but lines, and the type of list will be the class. This is just an array. You can consider this as an array, but in this case, it is uh, as an object or instance, because this one is as a class. So new is always used as a constructor for the classes. So in this case, list is a class. So class of type classes itself. So in order to iterate from the lines item, it will be good practice. For example, instead of sales line, we can Okay, let me rename this one as a lines, and then uh, declare another table buffer of type sales line. I think the sales line, let me indent it so that all are in line. I need to now make use of a looping, and when you make a while select, it means you are looping in a table itself. So, but ideally it should not be, the sales line, because normally when you post a journal, you can change, sales line, and confirm trans will be ideal. If I include cust confirm trans, so that will be line of journal. So instead of sales line, it is appropriate to include cust confirm trans, which will definitely contain the confirmation lines. So the best is confirmation lines which are already posted. Nobody can change it until the new confirmation journal is posted, and that will be a separate one. So let's now iterate this table buffer, and we need to also restrict this to only the past cust confirm jur table buffer. Means we need to put a where clause, and we need to also check, I mean, what is the relationship which exists currently with between cust confirm jur and cust confirm trans. So for that we need to check the table itself, and let me first check the field names. Yeah, confirm ID, confirm ID exists in both header and line itself. I will just copy the header. Confirm ID exists, yes. Let me also check the relationship between both of these tables. So it is sales ID, confirm ID, and confirm date. So I will include all these three fields in where clause, because this will be ideal, because this is the relationship composite one defined here. So sales ID, sales ID is also here covered. Sales ID, confirmation date was also part of relationship, and let's put the curly brackets. We need to instantiate the line contract here. After instantiating, we need to copy the line buffer which we are iterating here. So let me declare the line contract. So this one is line contract, and we need to instantiate it. Same class and with the brackets. We need to terminate, and then we need to populate each of the line param line field values to the param methods of this instance, contract instance. So from this table buffer, item ID will be copied. So the next will be the quantity, item ID, and then let me check what was. Item ID, quantity, and sales unit. So after copying all these three param, we need to add this contract which we have instantiated and populated to the end of list. So we'll make use of add end method of the list, and pass the line contract instance as a parameter. This will add the contract instance at the end of list. So after iteration of this one, we need to pass the whole list to the header param, whatever the sales line exists. So let me save it so that validations are done. It looks okay, and let me close and build again. So basically there is an error of reference to directory. Dynamics AX directory is missing. For this we need to add a reference. Let me go there. So the error is showing that we need to add a reference to the directory package itself. Let me go to the model, which is PKR model in our case. Let me check the directory package. Yeah, here it exists. It is related with security of reports and directory. Let me rebuild, and I think the error should go now. Yeah, build is completed now successfully, and after all the contracts, both for header and line, and then interaction class working separately to instantiate the contract. Now I need to implement the business event class itself. Let me add the class. put a name. So the name will be sales order confirm business event. So in here we need to decorate our, we need to link our contract, which will carry the payload here. So in the business events, I need to mention the main contract, which is the header contract, which is already taking care for the lines as well. We also need to mention in this decorator about the labels of contract, label for the business event, and then also the category for the business event. In our case, it will be the module name, because this is non-workflow business event. So we need to mention in the category the module of sales. So let me type it. So this is the business event name. Sales order confirmed business event. And then I need to mention the module, which is an enum type, module exapta, and I need to locate our module. And I think the appropriate one will be sales order, and it will be shown as sales. So this is very important. When you go to the business event catalog, at that in that list it will show, I mean the labels will be shown there. We will see in later in this video. So the business event class will extend business events base. Let me save so that if there is any error, it will show up. Validation is shown complete, but it is showing a syntax or compiler error. Yeah, actually it does not exist because I miss the S letter. It should be business events base. So now it is green and still showing that yeah, actually build contract need to be implemented. So I will implement it. So now let's implement the class, business event class. We will declare Cost invoice general table buffer as a private, so that it is only accessible within the business event itself. And then constructor, and then the para method. So actually I have overridden the constructor itself and made it a private here, and para method where the customer invoice jar need to be set here, and public constructor also need to be defined. Static constructor need to be defined, which will take the cust invoice, cust confirm jar. Sorry, I have all these cust invoice jar need to be replaced with the cust confirm jar. It is not about invoice journal, rather it is about sales confirmation journal. So all the variables need to be changed. Let me change it, and we close it. We reopen it, and so it will take cust confirm jar as an argument. So the new from should also mention the table name here is the same we have implemented already in our header contract class. So the static constructor need to instantiate the same the class itself, and then pass this value of cust confirm jar, which is passed as a parameter, and it should return the business event itself. Let me declare the class, name it as a business event locally, and then instantiate. If we have not implemented this, we have not overridden the new constructor here, it should have gone to its parent class, which we don't need, which we don't want here. So that's why we are implementing our own constructor as a blank implementation. And then we pass our cust confirm jar here and return the business event itself, I mean the class instance itself. So we need to also override build contract. Build contract, what it will do, it will build our contract object or contract class, which we have already defined. So we just just need to remove whatever the new class bodies. I need to include our own. So here I will make use of our interaction class. Yeah, cast confirm jar should be the parameter here, uh, but the class name is wrong. I need to put here the interaction class so that it will automatically populate and return our instantiated class object for our contract class. Let me rename it. It was wrongly business event class itself should be business event contract interaction. So contract interaction has the new from method in order to copy all the values from cast confirm jar. So here it is, and let me build my project. Showing me an error that cast confirm jar is not declared here. Yeah, actually it is cast invoice jar. This was not replaced yet. I need to just replace it, but again the new updates of Visual Studio are haunting me. Let me again reopen and let me just copy paste, save and close. Yeah, it is now replaced. I don't know what is going on here. Everything is hidden for me. I don't know whoever else is experiencing this behavior in Visual Studio 2019. The updates which are applied in July, please give me comments or feedback below my video. It is only 2 days before I have applied. I mean, the updates have come. So, I mean, this is very recent. So, I think majority of people, I don't know whether they are experiencing same or this is only for my scenario. So anyhow, the build contract, I need to remove the documentation for now, but you people please do take care about the best practices, documentation for the class and each of the methods. But for the demonstration purpose, I cannot cover, I mean, the full documentation itself. So our main focus will be the main business logic of the classes, how things are going on. So So the final part of our demonstration, I mean not a demonstration, but this logic will be to create a hook. Actually, now this one is sales confirm journal post class. Basically, it is used when a confirmation journal is posted. So this class is used. There is basically a run method inside it, which does basically the magic of the posting of sales confirmation journal. So instead of eventing of pre and post events, uh, the best practice is now to create a chain of command. And actually, we need to finally, as a final part of the code, we need to create a hook in this application code. That means whenever an event has occurred, I mean the confirmation journal is posted, that business event has occurred. So that hook need to be, I mean, calling our the payload to, I mean, carry forward to the further, recipients. So we need to define, a class again as a hook, basically as an extension or as a chain of command for our, sales confirm journal post run method. So basically, to name it, it is best practice to name the class which is as a chain of command the same name and then underscore uh, the name you are giving it and then underscore extension, so that it is easily understandable that this one works as a chain of command. And the class also need to be final, so that it cannot be further extended. Let me first name it. So this one should be the best name. Let me give it full, like sales integration. Okay, sales confirm. Okay, that's it. Let me add it. Then I need to decorate it as extension of our sales confirm journal post. So the decorator will be extension of, and then the class name as a class string. I need to pass the name of class is sales confirm journal post. Okay, then that's it. And then we need to make this class as public and then final. Okay, and then we need to implement the run method, override the run method. So this is basically for the chain of command. The syntax is like you need to declare it as a final class, and then you need to decorate it as extension of whatever the class. Let's now s- let's now pass the send event. So we need to all call here the static method of our business event class, which is new from cust confirm jar. So let's give the class name of business event class, and then scope resolution operator. double time colon sign and new from cust confirm jar here, and then we need to pass here whatever in our parent class, which is sales confirm journal post, the cust confirm jar buffer table buffer. So we need to check here cust confirm jar table buffer, which will need in our chain of command hook, which we are using here. So we need to just pass it on cust invoice your table buffer. We need to pass here. Okay, so now this chain of command will execute the extra logic which is being hooked by extending, I mean, as a decorator. We have extended it to the main logic. So in this way, the business events are normally developed and they are hooked wherever the existing logic of that. For example, if journal posting is happening or any of the document where we need to create the business event, we need to first identify the exact point from where we need to, I mean, create this uh, chain of command pattern in the class, and so that whatever extra logic is that should happen here. So let me build it. As a SOP, whenever you create a new business event, so you should perform data synchronization even if we haven't made any changes to any data structure. So first we need to build the project, and then that DB sync is must step afterwards. So we need to consider performance issue as well whenever we develop a business event, uh, which a business event might cause. So as a part of send method, the contract is initialized and serialized to a JSON string. We therefore only want this code to run if required. We can wrap the call using the following method. Business events configuration reader is business event enable. So whenever the business event is enabled, only then we need to we need to perform this logic. Otherwise, it should not perform. This will reduce the impact if current company does not have event configured. And the other important factor is that business event payload must always be small as much as possible. And also should have having a nested payload would usually be avoided. Uh, so a large payload, if it is required, so we need to consider using business event to simply let the target know that there is something to collect. The subscriber could then use the information in the event to get the document. So I'm just now building and synchronizing it. So now we are in our uh, catalog where we need to rebuild it, because now it is not showing here. So we need to go to manage rebuild business event catalog. So this will take a little bit time, and then our new business event will be visible in this business event catalog, which I have already given you the path. It is in system admin. Business events workspace is available in system admin module. So let it rebuild. Once it is rebuilt, then our new business event should be available. From our X++ part, or everything is done now. Next, we will be just creating Azure Service Bus queue. We will see after this. That is a very interesting part here. So let me wait until it is rebuilt. So the list is again visible, and I need to make a filter because I have prefixed my business event with the PKR. So I will just put the same here in filter, and it should, yeah, it is showing my business event, which is PKR SI sales order confirmed business event. Name is visible, sales order confirmed, which I have already named, and category is also visible clearly. So now coming back to the Azure part, before configuring the endpoint, we need to have Azure Service Bus queue available, which will be target of our business event. This will act as a messaging queue where the subscriber can read the messages in the queue. And we can configure then Microsoft Flow to read from Service Bus. So for the Azure, we need to have an admin rights in order to create a service bus. Then in the service bus, we need to have these all informations: queue name, app ID, Azure application secret, primary connection string, key vault DNS name, and key vault secret name. These are mandatory information in order, and we will be collecting this information uh, by continuing to configure the the service bus in the Azure. So I'm just using my subscription, and in Azure portal, you need to first open the portal, as I have opened the portal, and I need to locate Azure Active Directory, and in Active Directory I need to do app registration. So here is our Azure directory. Then on you can see on the left hand side this app registration. I just need to click it, and I need to register here, and I need to give a name to the app. So by clicking at the top at the new registration button, here I can give the application a name. Give it a name like PKR business events and register it. So the application registration will be created, and here is our application ID, which I need to make note in the app ID. Okay, so this will be our application ID, and then In the queue name, I will put it. No, actually, this is not the queue name. This is an application registration. So this is application name. Mistakenly, I have put it in the queue name. I will change it later on. So the next thing is to create a and then I need to click add a certificate or secret. There I need to add a new client secret. So these information, whatever I'm noting it, it is I will delete it afterwards. I mean this for the purpose of demo, I'm not hiding it, but this is not valid information once the video or training is uploaded on YouTube. So this will no longer be useful for anyone. If somebody is copying it, so it will not be there. I will delete just after the training session. So adding a client's secret here, I will give a description, a reasonable name here, and then various expiry options are available. So for this app registration, this will serve as a secret. So there are various options till 24 months, from 3 months to 24 months, and even custom options are available till this secret will be expired. So this will be shown here. Okay, Azure app secret. No, actually this is again I'm copy pasting it at the only description. Actually it is not the client secret. Yeah, so this value is actually the client secret. The value, the whatever the text is in the value, actually this is the client secret. So I will just replace it. Make sure that it is 100% correct, because if there is any character missing, so it will not work definitely. So this is very important. And this value is only shown once you have defined it. So make note of these things whenever you are creating it. So I'm making note of secret ID as well, although it is not necessary, but even for later purpose, if so, I am just making notes of. It's also not necessary, I think, but keep notes of these things. The only important thing was the value, the text, whatever it was in value field. So that is Azure application secret. And then then I need to go to API permissions. There I need to grant admin consent for default directory. Yeah, this one I need to click it, and then I need to follow the instruction. Uh, yes. So the status is updated. It has granted admin consent for the requested permission. So this API permission is also granted now. And then the important step, and this will be available for only Azure administrator. Any other user will not see it. So it need to have Azure admin rights, which I am having here. So that's why I can do it. So or whatever Azure, I mean the application registration should follow the same process. So once it is done, then I need to create a resource group. I need to add a resource group, and then I need to choose the subscription, whatever, and then give a name to the resource group, a reasonable name to identify our business events for the production system. And I also need to choose a region. And you know, the costing part is region wise different. So normally I can see West US and East US has different costing. So you need to take care of this thing whenever you are actually using your subscription. Whatever gives you best costing and availability, you need to choose that one. Also, you need to also check whether your system like D365 in which region it exists. So the same region you should choose here also, so that the network availability is best. So now the resource group is already created. Now we need to create a service bus. We need to just add and or create button and type service bus. So now we are just creating any of the resources inside our resource group. So that resource group is used to grouping to group all the objects in a one container. Basically, it is a grouping of objects. So for easy manageability and costing and budgeting. And if you want to delete later on, you can just delete one resource group and all the objects inside it will be deleted. So I will type service bus in search criteria. So it has shown me a service bus. Vendor is Microsoft, so I need to just create the service bus. It will take a while to create the actual service bus. One service bus can have multiple queues inside it. So the pricing tier can be standard one. Yeah, for the namespace creation, I can choose resource group, subscription, and then namespace name I can give, and location is already there. Then pricing tier, standard is best where we can use it. So I will choose standard. I need to give it a namespace, a name. So I need to give a reasonable name. So underscore is not allowed. Dashes, hyphens are allowed. So just service bus. So PKR bus events prod service bus. So the finally in the final screen, the review screen, all the details or summary will be shown. You just need to review the summary, whatever it is showing you, like the namespace name, subscription and the resource group, and region and the pricing tier, and then just you need to create it. It will take a while. Validation already has been done, and the deployment is going on. So just wait a while until it is done. After it is created, then we need to get the primary connection string from the service bus. This is very important. For this, we need to then go to the created service bus, and then in the shared access policy, we need to do a few of things like copying the primary connection string into notepad next to the primary connection string. So let's wait until it is done. Guys, definitely whatever I'm recording my video, I'm not perfect right now because still I'm in the phase of editing and the combining the sounds and everything. So if there are some problem or some issues or any suggestion for improvement, please do guide me and put your comments, valuable comments, which are very important for me. So the deployment is now succeeded, and you can go to resource directly from there. And then in the shared access policy, there is root manage shared access key. Just you need to click it, and then there will be a dialog box which opens. So there are certain values shown there. We are interested in primary connection string here. So I will just copy it and make a note in my notepad. That's it. Then we need to also create a queue inside this service bus. So we can create as many queues as we like it. I will again go to the overview, and then plus queue sign need to be clicked in order to create a queue where we can define a name, max queue size, max delivery count, message time to leave, log duration, and various options are available there. I just need to create a queue here, so just give it a reasonable name. So I don't need to enable any of other options. Sales order confirm queue. So for each of the document for which we will be creating the business events, a separate queue is necessary, so that document should be received or consumed in that queue itself. I don't think we don't need to change anything else except the name, and we need to make note of the name in this queue name. Actually, this was wrongly placed before as application name, but actually here we need a queue name. So we will just create this queue inside the service bus. As soon as you have created a service bus, you can see the graphs of requests, messages, and multiple things. And we will be seeing when we confirm any of the sales journal, then we'll see how message is received in this queue. So now we need to create the next thing is we need to create a key vault. We need to create a secret in key vault. So we need to just in the same way like we have created service bus, we need to search for key vault. So basically key vault is what actually this is a kind of a vault where all the keys will be stored. So I just need to give key vault a name. So actually hyphens are allowed. So I will just give it a business events prod vault, and that's it. I will just create it. It will take a while to create. Now once it is created, then I need to make note of DNS name value, which is basically a URI, uniform resource identifier, which I need to make note from it starts from HTTPS till the end. So once it is created, let me just wait for until it is created. So deployment is in progress, and for the vault, just wait for until it is done. So it is now done. I need to go to the resource itself, site properties, and then copy the vault URI basically, which is the DNS name value, and that I need to copy and make note against key vault DNS name. Then key vault secret name is remaining. For that I need to go back to the secret section in the section list. On the left hand side, yeah, below keys there is a secrets in the settings. I just need to click it and then generate and import, and then here I need to define my own secret. I need to give a name here and then a value, and value I again whatever name I will put here, that same name I need to put in my notepad notes against the key value secret name. And from the notepad I need to copy a primary connection string in the value field of value field here. So that need to be done. give it secret a name here. PKR business events prod secret. Now I need to copy this name, and against this key vault secret name I need to put. These nodes will be later on used in configuring the endpoint inside D365. So that's why these nodes are being made here. So from here I need to copy primary connection string and put in the value. So just copy it from the nodes. In the value, you just need to paste it. And in the content type, this is although an optional field value, we need to put here primary connection string, which is we actually placed in our value field. So the content type name need to be given here, primary connection string. And that's it. Then we need to just create this one, the secret. Then we need to allow the app registration to access the key vault. Whatever the application we have already registered, we need to allow that application to access the key vault. For that, we need to go from the section list in key vault. We need to select access policies, and here we need to add an access policy. While adding it, we need to give get and list permission in secret permission list. We are only concerned about secret permission. Key permission we need to leave it. Certificate permission also need to leave it. Only secret permission we need to allow get and list. And then in the principal, we need to select our already registered application. We need to search it because we have already prefixed it as a PKR. So we will put a search criteria through which we can search whatever the application is already. So PKR business events is the application name. So I need to add it or select it. And we also, after adding, to save, this is very important. If you don't save it, it will not save the changes which we have done now. So it is very important to, now we need to go to the notepad, and we need to configure endpoint in our business event catalog in D365. So just open up the interface. I will just copy it to the VM itself. I am using dev box, which is single box machine. In order to test my coding. So for that, I just need to open up in my VM, navigate to system admin, and in the system admin in business events, which is available. So the workspace for business event will open up. In that one, I need to go to the section of endpoint or the tab of endpoint. So I need to click new there. Yeah, that option new, and then there will be a dialog box which will open up where I need to give all the settings which I have noted in my notepad. I can choose here the endpoint type, which is Azure Service Bus Queue. So when I click next button, then there are various fields available where I can copy paste all my values noted already in the notepad. So there I need service bus queue name I need to put in two of the fields, endpoint name and queue name. In the endpoint name I need to paste it, and in the queue name I have already pasted. Remaining is application ID. Application ID is already a string value, so that I need to copy from app ID here. Just I need to copy and place here, and then Azure app secret I need to place. So the app secret, yeah, Azure app secret is also available here, which I will need to place. And then DNS name, that is the URI to the key vault that I need to place, and key vault secret name also. Yeah, this one I need to place here. So then I just need to click OK button to validate the settings whether this is working or not, depending upon various issues which people have faced due to multiple things. We can also check with Microsoft documentation about various issues which can be faced during this. So I have already faced an issue, and that is due to one reason which I will show you. Yeah, basically I have not saved the settings in my key vault. So because of that it has happened. So you can check here, because I did not save it, so the values were not access policies settings were not restored. So I just need to again do the same settings. So here is our application already registered, and secret permissions I have given, I have added it. Now I will save it, and once it is saved, then only the error will go away. This was my mistake, I have done it, and so I need to face the mistake again. I will create the endpoint. Let me just do once more. Just I will copy paste everything. I am not actually removing this part because so many or from my audience or viewers, they can also face the same problem. That's why I have knowingly included this portion, so that if somebody faces this message, so he should also check whether he has saved the access policy correctly or not. So if the same error which I faced is faced by them, they can also check whether they have saved the setting. So I will just paste it. Key vault DNS name and key vault secret name is also here. please also avoid to include any spaces because that can also create problem. So just I will again click OK to validate. Yeah, now this time it has created the endpoint after validation, so it means now it is successful. So endpoint is done. So we have configured the endpoint. Now what is next after endpoint is successful? So we need to activate our business event. That is the main part. Once the business event is activated, then only the hook or the extra logic will be executed, and it will start sending all the confirmed sales order journals to the queue, service bus queue in Azure, and then we can utilize or consume that one in Power Automate, and or we can send in email through Automate or anything we want. We need to just activate this business event, and there we need to give it a legal entity name. So this is legal entity wise. It means per legal entity means only if we include one legal entity, it will not occur in other legal entity. So USMF is my current legal entity which I need to select here. And then I need to select also the endpoint name which I already configured. So I will choose the endpoint name, and that's it. I will just click OK. So this business event will also be visible in active events. So now what I need to do is I need to just confirm a sales order, so that business event should occur. I mean, the business event itself is sales confirmation. So I just need to do this action, I mean the confirmation of any of the sales order, in order to verify that this thing is working now. So there is now in the journals, sales order is confirmed, and yeah, this is today's date, 25th of July 2021. This one is again confirmed. So there are two ways we can check it, either through Service Bus Queue Explorer utility, which is inside available in Service Bus in Azure portal. In the graphs, we can see there is something has happened, and some activity is there. So let me check. Not in the queue. It is. Here is our queue, and once I have used the DNS name, it is showing it is empty. And let me check. There are three messages. It's showing message count is three messages. So there is, yeah, this one, Service Bus Explorer preview. Basically, it will show you not in the send, but rather in receive tab. Yeah, now there are three messages active are shown here. I will just press the receive button in order to receive the message. So once it is received, it's saying it is destructive receive, means once I receive it, so it will be destroyed from the queue. Receive and delete from queue. So I'm saying, okay, let me receive in this way. So let me check what is the message. So on the right hand side, it's showing me business event ID, and a JSON format is showing me. It's not useful. Let me retrieve another one. I think the latest one should be the last one should be the correct. Now you can see this one is showing you some values. Sales unit is there, item ID is there, sales line, and then header information is also shown, customer account, currency code. Yeah, so it means our service bus is working correctly and our business event is also working correctly. You can see the values at the bottom. So this is one of the way to explore it. There is another way. If you go to Power Automate and you configure it for some useful purpose, that also can be possible. But since I'm not having the paid version of Power Automate, but I will show you somehow a little bit brief about it, that how it can be configured. So we need to go to the flow.microsoft.com. There we need to, in the data itself, on the left hand side, we need to create a connection for the service bus. So this, I need to select the service bus itself, which is a premium option. So definitely it's a premium option. In the connection string, I need to there is a primary connection string that I need to copy paste in the connection string itself, and then I can create this connection. No need of saving it in the service itself. Then I can, currently there are no apps using this connection, or there are no flows, because we just still need to create the flows which will be using this connection. So I need to edit this one, and I need to put a service queue name for my reference purpose so that it is identifiable. The queue, whatever the queue is being received. So for this business event, sales order confirm is received, and the connection string I need to copy paste. In the same way, if you have multiple business events, so you can name it accordingly, differently, so that it is easily identifiable for whatever purpose the connection is being used. we just need to create a flow here, build your own from blank and automated one, and we need to give a flow name here, which will be in our case process sales order confirmation. And after giving a flow name, then we need to also select service bus when a message is received in a queue, autocomplete. No, it will not appear like this, but we can put a keyword like service bus. That will be more easy and searchable. Service bus. It will show all the triggers related with service buses. Yeah, this one is what we need here. We just create this flow and the trigger point whenever through service bus message is received. So connection name, we need to put the queue name here, and then connection string also. In the notepad we have noted the connection string that we need to also place here, so that this power automate flow should be receiving the messages from using the connection string from the connection. No need of saving this one. In the queue name I will need to choose the queue name, so it means it has validated connection string is working, so that's why it has shown us automatically the queue name. So the queue type will be the main here. So the first step will be the trigger point of receiving this. So the next one, we need to initialize variable. So in the search box we need to search the initialize variable. So this one is yeah, this initialize variable is the correct one. Then I need to put a variable name here. So and then string is a type, and inside the value string is a type, and optional content on I need to instead of says or a confirm content will be the name here, and the parse JSON will be the value here in the search box. I need to search it. I need to, yeah, this in the value field, I need to click on the option content on the right hand side list that appear. Then in the, so this will be the variable initialize. In the next step, I need to type the parse JSON, because the JSON will be received in the message itself. So that also now variable initialize is done. So the next step will be to have the parse JSON operation. Yeah, so after receiving the string value, I need to parse the JSON itself. So now is the time to go back to our business event catalog. From that business event catalog, the schema need to be downloaded. If you remember, there was a schema in every of the business event. That schema basically contains whatever the structure of that business event is. For example, if it is header or line basis, so whatever the fields are included, those will be the basic schema. So I just need to go back to my VM. Just need to launch it, and in business event catalog I need to filter my business event, which is PKR, which starts with PKR for the sales confirmation. Just putting the prefix. Here it is. I will download my schema, and there will be a text file downloaded which will contain the basic structure. Just I need, yeah, this is the JSON format. I just need to copy it, and it will not contain any value, but rather I need to generate from a sample. So I just need to put a sample here instead of the previous text box. Here we need to place that copied values, and once it is done, so it will automatically structure it as per JSON format. So that's it. So after this step is done, then in the content field I can add dynamic. So here is our problem. Actually it is a paid service, so I have just showed you how it can be done. If you are having a paid service, so you can utilize it, and in the flow you can make use of, the business event which we have already created. So that's it, guys, and I think you have enjoyed this session, although it was very long session, because now business event end to end is very long. So just copy it from the notes.